Hello and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, we're going to learn to create our own custom interaction for the Sims tree. So here we are. By the way, I'm using Visual Studio 2015 to make this project, but there are other softwares you can use as well. Sharp Develop is also another software that you can use. I have already created and set up a new project. I'm not going to cover how to create a new project in this tutorial. I'm just going to provide links in the description to tutorials on how to set up a new project for Visual Studio and Sharp Develop. If you'd like me to make a video tutorial on setting up a new project, you can comment down below and I'll make one in the future. Okay, let's get started now. This screen is what you'll see when you first start your project. The name of this namespace should be unique. If another mod or EA's code has a namespace with the same name, then your game will have issues. Okay, so please be careful with that. For this project, I'm going to name it tutorial underscore custom underscore interaction. The namespace is contained inside these two curly braces. Anything outside these is outside the scope of this namespace. You can have multiple namespaces in your project, but for this project there's going to be only one. It'll be simpler that way. And the name of this class can be anything you want. It does not have to be unique. It does have to be unique for this project, but other mods can have the same name as your class. The class is contained inside these two curly braces, and anything outside of it is outside of this class, just like with the namespace. And we'll name this class tutorial class. Now inside this class we are going to add bracket tunable close bracket, and then underneath it we will add protected static bool k instantiator equals false. You can see this red line under tunable. This means there is an error. Hover your mouse's cursor towards it and you will see different ways of fixing this error. Now we're going to press Ctrl plus the full stop button, and this will add using simstree.simiface to the top of our project. After adding simstree.simiface to our project, we can now start using tunable to tune our variables. Adding tunable means that k instantiator's value can be edited using an XML file. You'll find out how later in this tutorial. And protected means that only this class or a class that is derived from tutorial class can use this variable. Static means that this variable will only have one copy no matter how many objects this class has. Bool is a data type, means that k instantiator can be true or false. Its value cannot be 1 or 2 or A. It can only be true or false. K instantiator, it's the name of the variable. The name can be anything you want it to be. I'm going to explain a bit more about this. I'll create two new variables and a new class. This is not really a part of creating an interaction, but it's to show you how these things work to help you better understand the concept. First variable will be public static bool k instantiator 2 equal to false. And public bool k instantiator 3 equals to false. There's no tunable added above these two variables, so they cannot be edited using XML. Now we create a new class. I'm going to name this example class. Inside this example class, I'm going to create an object of tutorial class. Tutorial class space example object equals new tutorial class. Example object is now an object of tutorial class. Now we're going to create a method called example. So bool example bracket open bracket close. And because this method is of type bool, so it has to either return true or false. We're going to return true. Inside this method, we're going to try to access k instantiator 2 and k instantiator 3. So example object dot k instantiator, and as you can see, k instantiator 3 is the only option that's coming up. This is because k instantiator 3 is not static and is not protected. Now we're going to add tutorial class dot k instantiator 2 equals to true. Because k instantiator 2 is static, it had to be accessed directly via tutorial class and not through an object of tutorial class. Static variables have to be accessed directly through the class, and non-static variables have to be accessed by creating an object of the class. Variables that are protected could not be accessed in any way. Now we're going to delete this example class as well as these two variables. Inside tutorial class, we're going to create a new method also called tutorial class. Static tutorial class. This method is special. It's called a constructor, which means it is automatically triggered or called whenever an instance of the class is created. Constructors also have the same name as the class. Inside this constructor, we're going to add world.onWorldLoadFinished event handler plus equal to new event handler brackets, and inside the bracket onWorldLoadFinished handler. Now, world here is a class. It's not a class made by us, but by SimStree's developers. Every world, be it Sunset Valley or Bridgeport or Moonlight Falls or even custom made worlds, belongs to this world class. On World Finished is an event handler. Event handlers are to handle certain events in the game, like loading a game, loading a world, sim aging up, sim getting reset, being cured of being a zombie, or there are many events like this in the game, and event handlers can access these and apply some code whenever these events get triggered. Now, if you remember K-instantiator 2 in example class, it was a static variable. So we would access it directly via the class instead of creating an object. On world finished event handler is also a static member of the world class. So we don't create an object to use it. I'm going to show you the world class using .NET Reflector. .NET Reflector is an add-on to Visual Studio. You can also use ILSpy to do this, which is another software that's free. And as you can see, on world finished event handler is a static member of the world class. Plus equal to means that something is being added to the variable's own value. So a plus equals to b means a equals to a plus b, and if a's value is 3 and b's value is 4, a plus equal to b means a equals to 3 plus 4, 7. So here we are adding a new event handler to onWorldLoad finished event handler. Inside the brackets, you can see onWorldLoad finished handler. This is a method. This method currently does not exist. We're going to create it. So I'm just going to hover the cursor over here, then Control plus full stop. Okay, so we have made our method. So what's happening inside this constructor is that whenever the world load finishes, whether that world is Sunset Valley or University or Al Simara, this method on world load finished handler gets called. Now we're going to write what this method is going to do. So inside this method, we're going to write for each bracket sim in sims tree dot gameplay dot queries dot get objects sim so there's an error with sim. We're going to have to add using sims tree dot gameplay dot actors in order to use the sim class. So here sim within capital S is a class. Every sim from Belagoth to Mortimer to Nancy Landgrab, puppies, Simbots, Bonehilda, they all belong to this class. And sim with a small s is an object of sim. We did not use new keyword to create an object this time. There are actually several different ways to create an object. This simstree.gameplay.queries is trying to get every object of type sim in the game, the current game that you're playing. So this for each sim in simstree.gameplay.queries.getObjects sim statement means that for every sim in your current game, in whatever world, in whatever save that you're playing, the code inside these two curly braces will run on those sims. So inside this for each loop, we're going to add if sim not equals to null, and inside this if statement add interactions sim. If sim not equal to null is here to make sure that the sim does in fact exist before executing what's inside its bracket. Inside the if, we will call another method called addInteractions. This method doesn't exist yet, so we're going to create it. And for each is a loop, and it will continue to keep running the code inside its curly braces until the code has run on every single sim in your current save in the current world that you're playing. So we're going to hover the mouse cursor towards add interactions. Now we're going to press Ctrl plus full stop and create our method. We've made this method, but we're not going to do anything with this method right now. First, we're going to create our interaction and then we'll come back to it. The interaction will be created using a class. This class will be inside the tutorial class. A class can be inside another class. So public class tutorial test interaction. That's the name of the class. Colon immediate interaction sim comma sim, and then curly brackets, open and close. Immediate interaction is another class that's made by the developers and we are inheriting from it. Tutorial test interaction inherits from immediate interaction. This colon immediate interaction means that inheritance is taking place. Tutorial test interaction is inheriting from immediate interaction to create a custom interaction. And sim is to mean that the interaction is between two sims, not necessarily human sims, but sims and not objects like stoves or showers. Okay, now inside this class we're going to write public static read only interaction definition singleton equals to new definition. Every interaction needs an interaction definition, and you can give it any name you want. It doesn't have to be singleton. And now we're going to create another class inside this class. We're going to name this class definition. Public class definition. It inherits from immediate interaction definition sim tutorial test interaction. Tutorial test interaction is the name of the interaction class, as you can see. If your interaction class is named something else, then you have to put that here instead. The definition class inherits from immediate interaction definition class. Every interaction needs an interaction definition class for it to work. Now, inside this class, we are going to add public override string get interaction name. This method will determine what the name of the interaction will be. So here I'm just going to write return custom tutorial interaction. This is what the name of our interaction will be. The override keyword means that we are replacing the get interaction name method from immediate interaction definition class with this one. Now we will add another method called test. So public override bool test and then inside the curly braces return true. The test method is used to determine when the interaction should appear and when it should not appear. So if you want the interaction to only be usable by teenagers or only by vampires or only by sims with a certain level of skill, then you can use the test method to do that. I'm going to cover how to use this test method in a future tutorial, but for now, return true means that any sim can use this interaction, and if I return false, then no sim will be able to use it. Now we shall go back to tutorial test interaction class, and here we will add a method called run. So public override bool run, and inside the curly brackets we will add return true. So this run method determines what this interaction actually does. So from routing to animation to skill increase to relationship increase or decrease between the two interacting sims, all of that happens inside this run method. So for this custom interaction, we're not going to do anything too complicated. We're just going to show a notification that says, hello, this is a custom interaction. So whenever you use this interaction, a notification will pop up saying, hello, this is a custom interaction. So to do that, we're going to write styled notification dot show. Styled notification is the class that we're going to use to display notifications in our game. Right now we're getting an error, so we have to fix this error by adding using simstree.ui into our project. Okay, now we can use show notification class in our project. So show notification dot show inside the brackets new styled notification dot format, and here we'll write hello, this is a custom interaction. And then comma style notification dot notification style k game message positive. So now our interaction is done. So we're going to go back to the add interaction method, and inside it we will add sim dot add interaction tutorial test interaction dot singleton comma true. This will add the interaction that we just made into the game. Now save, and by the way, you should be saving quite frequently because many things can go wrong and software can crash. So save frequently, and after saving, go to build solution. Now open S3PE. Go to file and then select new. Now go to resource and then add. In here, select XML 0x33406C. In the group section, put 0, and in the name section, you put the namespace name and then a period and then the name of the class. By class, I mean the class that contains the onWorldLoad finished method. Now press FNV64 and then press OK. Now right click on it, press Notepad. And here we will add open angular bracket question mark XML version equals to 1.0 in under quotes, encoding equals to in quotes UTF-8 question mark close angular bracket. Now in the next line, inside the two angular brackets, write base, and then again in the next line, inside the angular brackets, write current tuning. And now again come to the next line, inside the angular brackets, k instantiator value equals to true. You probably remember k instantiator from the beginning of our project when we said this value can be edited using an XML. This is how we edit it with an XML. In the next line, inside the angular brackets, / k instantiator. And then do the same for current tuning and base. / current tuning and / base. Oh, and make sure there is no space between question mark and XML. I'm going to put this XML file in the description section of this video, so you can just copy paste it, because you have to make sure that you get it right. There shouldn't be any extra space or some other mistake, since Notepad doesn't tell you when there's an error, unlike with Visual Studio. Now save and close Notepad. Go to resource, add, select S3SA, in group put 0. The name can be anything you want. I'm going to name it puddingface.custom_interaction_tutorial. And now press FNV64 button and then click OK. Now right click on the S3SA file and then import DLL and import the DLL that we just built in Visual Studio. Okay, now the script has been imported. Now save the mod using S3PE. The mods package file should be inside mods/packages, just like you install any other mod. And after that's done, delete the 4 cache files. Now start your game and let's see if the interaction is appearing or not. And here's our interaction. As you can see, it's doing what we wanted it to do. If you did everything correctly, then this is what you should be seeing. Now I'm going to explain this tutorial and summarize it a bit. So first we created this K instantiator inside the class, and this class has a constructor, and as I've already told you, constructors get called whenever the class is accessed. Inside the constructor, we call this method onWorldLoadFinishedHandler whenever the world is done loading. And then this method onWorldLoadFinishedHandler applies the method addInteraction to every sim in the world. So basically, when the XML file changes the value of K instantiator to true, it starts a chain reaction and the rest of our mod gets loaded into the game. So that's the end of this tutorial. I hope it helps you. See you on the next video. Bye.